Fresh off the heels of a blueprint session. Oh, I feel a bit tired. Let me unwind with this ridiculous playthrough. Since I think blueprints is going to be on my mind very often, maybe I can hint in very subtle ways how deep into the game I am with my friends. So all I'll say now is castle? Castle. Castle. That's how I felt near the end. Huh? Anyway, I dare not say anymore. Blueprints is amazing, by the way. It's another one of those games where I would say, no, it's not a freaking roguelike. That is... that doesn't even describe the game at all. Anyway, before I get into my... well, I guess there's more Sherville dialogue first. I've been meaning to ask Vernal, how did you get that sword exactly? Why should I tell you? The way that woman in the dress reacted, it's as if it was hers, and her hammer looked to be of the same materials. Did you steal it from her? What? No, I found it. Vernal. Don't Vernal me, I'm serious. It fell out of the sky onto my camp. It nearly killed me. See? The engraving on the side is the same shape as my belt buckle. That's right, you did mention this earlier. It is convenient that your father tends to constantly engrave things with his family crest. I assume this belt was his too? Yeah, it was the only lead I had to find him, so I kept it. Is there any reason you haven't disposed of it now that you've tracked him down? This coat is too big for me. I kinda need it. I actually knew about that from reading the description of the coat. Like, they thought of stuff like that, but they didn't nail enough of a plot for me to care about, unfortunately. Okay, there's still more stuff to do on the Arboretum for sure. So what was it? Yeah, visited, but not completed. And before I look for the next area to do, might as well land on Pyrena and see if I can get... I think the upward charge attack would be a good idea. Man, my notes are... not just my blueprints notes, but my bullet point notes for this game are pretty large right now. Right, grounded up charge. I don't know that this is really useful. I mean, I guess it streamlines the process of launching an enemy with poise. I don't have to hit it with another move and then use a launcher. I would just use this on the last point of poise. But then it's like, what if an enemy has 2 poise and I use the grounded down charge? Then this doesn't even work, which is why I don't really care for it. Oh, so many thoughts about action games running through my head. I'll have to organize them before I... yeah, aerial upcharge I think is fine. I still didn't use... that's one thing I didn't write down, but I did just think of it. I didn't use sheer descent, even though I wanted to test what the shockwave does with that one ability. I guess I can also talk... where the hell was that schmuck? Still have nothing on that. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about this. I guess I have quite a lot of currency. Fortunately can't get air block and sense of direction. I think sense of direction is slightly more useful than I realized. For now I'll just get the air block. Might as well. I don't even particularly care about the other directional charge moves I haven't gotten. Maybe I'll change my mind later, but I think this is all I need. Oh yeah. I guess I could show him this. I could also show him the fertile soil, but I don't think he has much to say about a literal fistful of dirt. Looks like you've got some herbicide. This stuff is deadly to plants. They also used it to prevent the mushrooms from spreading after the rising. It was so aggressive they stopped using it out of fear that it would make the islands unsuitable as farmland. Take care when using it. I guess that was a tiny smidgen of lore. What's left of the treasure of the Arboretum? I'm afraid I can't make heads or tails of this. That's at least kind of interesting. So as knowledgeable as that guy is, he doesn't know that much. Yeah, it's the same as before. Where was I? Ah, yes. To wake the sleeping dragon, I traveled to a far-off spring where a species of boar famous for its meat roams wild. After staking out the boar's territory, I tackled one to the ground and successfully slayed the creature. Maybe I am more tired than I realize because I'm struggling to read. After thanking nature for the bounty it provided me, I took the spoils of my kill to the most talented butcher in all the land, and had them prepare a cut of its flesh so fragrant and delicious that even the gods of the new heaven would awaken. I knew then that my journey to bring this meal to the dragon would be treacherous. Many bandits would dare to burgle such a rare and perfect feast. I bet you're wondering what happened next. Actually, I'm just kind of hungry now. Until next time, traveler, stay tuned for the thrilling conclusion of my tale. Okay, yeah, I'll save my money. I don't know if I want to use the parry. I'm sick of parries in games. I could make a whole detailed video on that. Some people have already spoken on the subject, but just pressing one button before you get hit to negate all damage and deal massive damage to the opponent is obviously insane. It covers defense and offense, and if it works on enemy attack, it's the only response you ought to use. Because it's so obviously blatantly good. Okay, what does Chervil have to say? Are you religious at all, Vernal? Not really? I don't know. I suppose you don't agree with the church's rhetoric, then. Pff, no. I don't even know what they do. As far as I'm concerned, they're just armored jerks. My experience, they're more of a cult. Bunch of low-life thieves taking up arms for the sake of controlling others. Slow down there, rebel. Apologies. I suppose I hit one of my own sore spots. I'm with you, Chervil. Screw the church. You might notice one of the locations is moving around on the map. I guess I could... Yeah, what the heck? I could show this. Highest threat level, Aloe Air Fortress. We can't land on the Aloe airship, I'm afraid. They would shoot us out of the sky if we tried. So yeah, that's obviously going to be a thing later, when we have a means of getting there. I recall Tower of Battle was sort of a side area. I think there's probably a better place for me to go first. Was it... Shaded Cavern? It escapes me. I guess I'll stop at Shaded Cavern and see. Okay, yeah. Just like in town, I can't do anything about this piece of wood. Which is funny, because you might think this would be enough force, but it's not. Although I do get a memory point for coming here early. I don't remember there being a secret somewhere. Was it here? No. Like I said, later on I'll try to do most of that work off camera. So yeah, this place is pretty obviously gated off. Maybe being made up of so many islands that are just... entirely separate locations doesn't do many favors for the Metroid-esque world design. Oh, worth noting, the Aloe Air Fortress goes into the inaccessible area as well, over here. Which is kind of cool. It has that effect when you get close to it, also. Oh, maybe it was... Yeah, I'm now remembering Fallen Tower. Yeah, I kind of remember Debris Field. Okay. So Shaded Cavern was the one place that escaped my memory. Maybe Fungal Mines. Yeah. I think I could do something here. Have you ever been here before, Vernal? No? Why? This place seems eerily familiar. You're not gonna follow me inside, are you? What? No, Good. I'd rather not have distractions while I'm in there. I think Vernal's very much doing the... I don't care about you, I just need you. I don't get attached to people emotionally, but she totally does. It's always the same with that show. Oh, right, zip lines are a thing. I don't even remember how many of those there are. Guess I did that ahead of schedule before even seeing what the blockade was. Ah. I'm just gonna ignore those guys. Can't seem to remember what this mechanism is supposed to do. Maybe it's not usable yet. Like, there's another one. Ah! What the hell? Sorry to startle you. This is the telecom I gave you earlier, remember? This is the hologram function. Oh, right. If I recall, there were minerals being mined here that were important for creating soul interfacing devices. Might be some relevant information here. Sure remember a lot for someone who lost their memory. Most factual information seems to have remained, but my personal experiences are all a blur. So after I took damage, notice how much damage even that basic enemy does. I think regardless of... Yeah, that's how it's supposed to go. You pick up the map and then you can see. I think regardless of difficulty, it doesn't make much sense for a basic enemy like that to hit that freaking hard. And that's one of the weakest attacks. In fact, I don't even recall, other than like the lingering thorns of the boss I last beat, the Corrupt Knight, and a few similar things that deal rapid chip damage. I think everything hits super hard, and I question if it's because pulse attacks heal you. Never when playing action games like Devil May Cry or anything like that have I felt the need to have a method of healing mid-combat that's a core part of the game, because, well, you're not even supposed to get hit in the first place. If there's a healing system with checks and balances like this, then it could be that the developers are expecting or intending for you to take some damage, but I don't know, I never... Oh right, these lifts are operated with this later, now I remember. But yeah, I think just killing enemies and getting healing items as drops is perfectly fine. And in fact, I think Hideki Kamiya's games are extremely well balanced when it comes to that, especially on higher difficulties. Oh right, this stuff is hazardous up here, so yeah. And I gotta jump up here to avoid that other stuff. One last time. This is all decent, serviceable platforming, I will say. This machine is missing its handle. I can't start it. And there's more of these. Actually, is this where I get the ability that smashes through these? Yeah, maybe it was a good idea to come here next. Yeah, it's obviously going to be used there. Speaking of the Corrupt Knight, by the way, didn't the whole resolution of the Arboretum with that character seem really abrupt? Like, I never got the impression from the area itself that the plants could mind control people. And that knight seemingly didn't care for the church and just wanted to get rich and leave. So I kind of pity the guy, honestly. Vernal just kills him unceremoniously after he gets possessed by those plants. Yeah, everything about that boss fight just feels off to me. I kind of messed that up. Oh, nice. That was not so nice. But I tried. Oh yeah, sheer descent. No, it doesn't seem to do anything. Just extra damage, I guess. Meaning that I'm probably gonna disable that memory if memory points do become a problem somehow. Okay, now they have 2 boys. A bit of a busy fight, although it doesn't seem that bad so far. Alright, the aerial charge. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good place for it, too. The aiming on laser attacks like that is rather aggressive. But it's not the worst, since you can block the lasers. Okay, now for you. Yeah, committing to a single one of those just feels terrible. Yeah, Vernal does automatically face the direction of the enemy when you perform, say, the grounded downward pulse attack. Right. Something about this enemy doing 5 of those attacks in a row just doesn't seem right to me. It's not even... Like, why would it continue swinging when I'm nowhere near it? Oh, right. Poise recovery. 5. I could get in there and block, but then if I tried to commit to the counter after blocking... Oh, right, there's more. That was risky. I had no idea how much poise that guy had. And I can assume the other guy has the same amount of poise, but as we saw in one previous fight, one instance of an enemy type in the same fight had 3 poise, the other 2, so all bets are off on that. Okay, I need to be really aggressive with this guy. Ah. He broke out before I could finish that. God damn! That's what I meant. He has 5 poise, so I want to knock it out, but... Wow, that feels awful. Anyway, I said all I wanted to about the Corrupt Knight. Wait a minute, did I get... Oh no. Right, that's where I went. I really hate that axe-wielding guy. I guess I'll just be extra cautious around him and lame it out. Oh yeah, poison is a thing. And each bubble does damage, that's right. I was too busy thinking about the fight itself, and I wasn't paying attention to that section. Apologies. Apologies. I don't think you actually need to do the Arboretum first, because there are grips here to get up the walls even if you don't have... Oh, what was it called? Air step, I think. Oh yeah, none of this... Could go back to the save point, but I don't even know that it saves that much time. It's gonna save a lot of time if I repeatedly die here, and I don't want that to be the case. So I'm gonna try my damnedest to ensure it doesn't happen again. This is where I'm very tempted to just spam my most powerful moves like that. Yeah, something I also wanted to mention about the boss, I wrote down the quote, the scrolling text during every boss intro. I think it's the same. I guess getting a little... Okay, that's good. I forgot to hold a direction the second time I pressed pulse there. That was very silly. Yeah, the quote is, "Some say the world will end in fire, some in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire." Which is kind of cool, but I also don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean in the context of the story. It just seems like... See, that's something I hate. I went behind that guy because he has such a wide attack. He turned around mid-attack animation. Like, he might as well just attack simultaneously in both directions, because functionally that's how it ends up working. That's a big pet peeve of mine. I can't turn on a dime mid-animation, why can the enemy? At least I'm pretty sure I can't. Definitely not in a single hit like that. Single hit of a combo, I mean. Everything hits that hard. Everything. Man. Now I'm realizing just how much of a problem this is gonna be. Well, if I need to practice in the future, I will do so. Part of the point of these bullet points that I'm reading is so that I'm not quiet during most of the gameplay. But if I get stuck here, then fine, I'll practice, and the next part will be me finishing that fight properly. Man. But usually, in, say, Devil May Cry, I'd need to be playing on Dante Must Die mode to die that fast, and I still don't die as fast in Devil May Cry as I do here. Maybe it's because in Devil May Cry you have multiple difficulties that you're supposed to carry some things over into the later ones. Upgrades, life upgrades especially. Like, I think you take that much damage on Dante Must Die because you're expected to have most, if not all, of the blue orbs. So that you have almost 2 full life bars, so it makes sense for enemies to hit that hard to compensate for it. The game is actually pretty well balanced at that point. Here, individual enemies always deal the same amount of damage, but later I'm gonna have more life. It's not gonna be that much more life. I think it's like 50% more max life, or maybe double. I forget exactly, but it's somewhere in that range. So I guess the enemies just have to hit really hard to compensate for later. But it kind of sucks now, doesn't it? Okay, I have an idea on how to stun this guy. Something like... No, that's... Yeah, that. Oh, he just recovered. Okay, who cares then? Right, it's a double hit. Why isn't it a double hit? This is an extremely irritating enemy. Because you can't be passive. But if you're aggressive, you're just gonna die. Feels almost like a stalemate. And his poise is back. I think he could just randomly do that whenever he wants. Maybe not while he's buffed, but... Ugh. At least he doesn't heal at the same time. To be honest, I prefer the healing of that one enemy I fought on at the end of the first island. Because it means that I can break his poise and prevent the healing. I prefer that to an enemy having practically unlimited poise, like that guy can sort of have. Right, that was the aerial combo, so it dealt poise damage. Having to remember what does how much poise damage is kind of annoying as well. He covers so much ground, it's insane. Okay, that was decent enough. I guess technically I could be keeping these weaker enemies alive to deal with the axe guy, so I can knock them into him to deal poise damage and build up pulse from them, which is a bit safer. But I don't know. Nice. I was hoping the last hit would break that guy's poise before it was too late. I forget if his grounded wave attack... Okay, thank God. If I died one more time, I would have been really embarrassed. But I forget if the axe guy's grounded wave attack... If him swinging his axe has a damaging hitbox, or if it's just the wave itself. If it's just the wave, I don't understand why he's locked to not being able to turn around during that. But during the very high damage melee attacks, he can turn on a dime. Ugh. So anyway, the unfortunate thing about this game that I experienced when beating Vicious for the first time, and I actually unequipped Pacifist Curse at some point because I was just getting tired, is that since there's no scoring system, there's no metric whatsoever other than, like, all you've got is survival and optimization to kill enemies quickly. That's it. Technically doing combos is the latter, because keeping enemies in the air just keeps them stunned for longer, which means you can hit them more. That's it. And I really value scoring systems in general, and in an action game like this where you can do all this stuff with the enemies, I think especially you need some kind of acknowledgement from the game that yes, you are supposed to do stuff like that. Because anything you can do in a game, personal motive is always a reason to do it. And scoring systems can balance out certain things. Like if I was punished for just spamming down charge, maybe I wouldn't have done it. That's a really weird fight. I don't know why it exists. Oh right, it was a series of these. I guess that was just an antipiece or something. And instead of having pulse be limited, because there are some powerful pulse attacks after all, having it limited by a meter, so you can't always do it. Okay, I think blocking is probably pretty good here. Good. Then pulse attacks could maybe give points but not build multiplier, and then non-pulse attacks, or maybe some combination of regular directional attacks building multiplier but not giving big points, and then charged attacks giving big points but not building multiplier. There are many variations that they could do. And I think at some point I saw this activates the lifts, right? Yep. And that's just the deactivated state of these same mechanisms I've been hitting even before this place. Another way of thinking of it is, let's say, I think I've had a lot of disparate thoughts that have been particularly well organized. Oh, whoops. That was an accidental press of the up button. Let's say this game is functionally identical, down to the pulse attacks healing you, the meters, the mana, everything. And there was just something keeping track of score. And rewarding you for punishing one way, punishing you for playing another way. How would that hurt this game at all? Because I've seen screenshots of early versions of this game where there was like a letter with a meter in the corner of the screen, a la Devil May Cry, and all I can think is if you made a combo system like that, or a scoring system, why did you remove it from the game? Do you think less is more? I don't think so when it comes to this. But yeah, I can actually elaborate on the scoring point, but unfortunately, because I did so poorly, I think I want to end this there, and I'm sorry if watching me fail is unpleasant. But nevertheless, thank you for watching.